Hello on tonight's programme.
The massive sinkhole in Aldershot, which hasn't been repaired after nearly a month. Business owners say they're struggling.
Claims that Thames Valley Police were shortchanged by almost £1 million with Donald Trump's visit to Windsor.
Also tonight, the rise in romance fraud and dating app scams. Warnings to be careful about who's really pulling the strings.
And Matt Goss from Bros talks to us about the highs and lows of fame as he prepares to headline a South Coast festival. Good evening. Shopkeepers and restaurant owners in Aldershot say their businesses are under threat because of a massive sinkhole in the centre of town.
Well, the huge hole opened up in the middle of Victoria Road almost a month ago, and the street has been closed ever since. Some retailers in the area say they've lost half their trade. Here's Penny Sylvester.
This is usually a busy thoroughfare in the centre of Aldershot, but the huge cavity that suddenly appeared in the middle of Victoria Road has put paid to the hustle and bustle. Traders say customers are staying away because the roads are closed.
The business has been heavily impacted. I would say on weekends it's about 40 to 50%, and on weekdays it's about 30 to 35% down. Still got to pay the bills. Everything's going up, so it has made a huge impact on us, especially we expect January to be slow month, and being a road closure has slowed down us a bit more.
The sinkhole appeared about a month ago, but the council can't just fill it in. They have to find out exactly what's happening underground before they can start the repairs.
If you come down and look in the afternoon, like no people are walking around, and it's like maybe properly silent town at the moment, so like it's very affecting our business.
Our main customers comes all over the place, like Farnborough, Camberley, even London. Some people come to shop here. This is the Nepalese town, and because of this, people are confused where to park, where to go, and the rumors saying, you know, the road is closed here, so that is the impact.
Hampshire County Council put up notices at the site saying they know the probable cause of the void, but they've not divulged what they think that is. In a statement they say, "We're currently assessing what has caused this issue so we can effectively reinstate the road surface. The hole has exposed underground utility infrastructure, including gas pipes, which makes the repair more complex, as these must be fully protected before any work can take place."
The main issue is we haven't seen anyone coming here, and no one has been seen there. They just closed that, and then we can't see anyone. So if we see anyone doing something, then that gives us hope.
The council say they're trying to resolve the situation as a matter of urgency. Penny Sylvester, ITV News, Aldershot.
5 swans have been found dead in Caversham in the last few days with suspected bird flu. The charity Swan Support, that rescues and treats sick and injured swans, found one bird in the river near to Tesco. Another was found near the University of Reading Rowing Club. The Borough Council is working with the charity to closely monitor the situation. Dozens of dead swans have been found in recent weeks on the River Kennet and on the River Thames in Windsor.
The examining authority looking at the proposed Botley West solar farm has submitted its report to the Energy Secretary. It marks the end of the recommendation stage of the process. Ed Miliband now has up to 3 months to review the inspector's findings before making a final decision on whether to approve it. If it goes ahead, it would be Europe's biggest solar farm and would power more than 300,000 homes. Concerns have been raised about the impact the development would have on the West Oxfordshire landscape and if measures to protect wildlife go far enough.
Car parking fees in the Vale of Whitehorse will be frozen for the next financial year. The District Council says motorists won't see a rise thanks to good financial management. The authority is also moving forward with plans for ticketless parking and will launch a public consultation in the spring. It's working with the British Parking Association in its campaign for the use of ANPR cameras in car parks in order to issue penalty charges automatically by post, which would reduce costs further. Thames Valley Police and Crime Commissioner Matthew Barber says the force is unable to claim back around £900,000 from Donald Trump's state visit to Windsor last year.
Matthew Barber is now calling on the Home Office to change how state visits are funded. I spoke to him earlier and asked about the scale of that operation.
Well, that one particular state visit itself for President Trump was one of the largest operations Thames Valley Police has carried out. I mean, the total cost, looking at all of the expenditure from forces across the country that came to support Thames Valley Police, will be getting on for £9 million. So this is a big operation, but it is just one of many we've seen with Buckingham Palace being out of action for refurbishment at the moment. Windsor is effectively the centre of royal activity, and so for all these big state occasions, everything is happening to Windsor, and that's putting a huge burden on policing.
And in terms of the shortfall on the President's visit, around £900,000, is that right? Did you know at the time that you wouldn't be able to recoup all that money back?
Well, the normal funding arrangements are that we can claim additional costs, so that's the hire of equipment and vehicles that we might need, but not normally the personnel from Thames Valley. Now, we'd had those conversations with the Home Office before and during the operation, and had strong indications that because of the exceptional circumstances that Thames Valley is hosting so many of these royal visits, that we would be able to claim that money back. Now we've had the confirmation from the Home Office, they will not fund that additional cost. That's another £900,000. The force is short. We're already £9 million short on our funding that we were expecting this year. That has an impact on day-to-day policing throughout Thames Valley, and it puts an extra burden on local taxpayers.
Which is what I was going to come to, actually, in terms of where that money is going to come from. It will be taxpayers that will be forced to make up that shortfall.
Well, ultimately, yes. We're almost at 50-50 now between the amount that the Home Office contribute to policing locally and the amount that local council taxpayers have to pay through their bills. So the burden is very much on local taxpayers at the moment. We've seen the funding settlement that we had from the government just at the start of the year has put more burden again on local council taxpayers, an assumption of more coming out of council tax and less coming from central government. Funding arrangements like this just make that burden even harder, and that's why I'm asking the Home Secretary to think again to review this, because this is an ongoing situation. That £900,000 was for one operation. Yes, it was certainly one of the biggest, but we've also had the French President, the German President, we've got the Nigerians coming very soon, and we know we'll have around 3 years of these state visits happening in Windsor because Buckingham Palace is out of action.
And finally, you mentioned the potential impact on policing because of the shortfall. Practically, what could that mean?
Well, the reality is, whenever we have any of these big operations, that will pull resources from elsewhere in Thames Valley. You know, we're a big force, there's some resilience, and the force is well rehearsed at doing these big events. But of course, any officer who's pulled off of their regular duties to go and deal with one of these state occasions is not doing the policing they would be doing day to day. That's why it's important that we get the cost of that back at least, so that we can look to redeploy those resources throughout the year. So without this funding, not only are local council taxpayers losing out financially, but they're also seeing all of that additional policing being drawn into dealing with these big events while no recompense is coming to the force. OK,
Thames Valley Police and Crime Commissioner Matthew Barber, thank you very much for talking to us on the programme. Well, in a statement, the Home Office said, "We and the police have long-standing arrangements in place to ensure state visits are run safely and securely. While regular policing continues across communities, Thames Valley Police, they say, will receive additional costs linked to this state visit, and these will be recovered through standard major event procedures."
You are watching ITV News Meridian here in the Thames Valley. Thank you so much for watching us. Coming up very soon, we talk to singer Matt Goss from Bros. Remember him?
I can't believe their first hit is nearly 40 years old. It's crazy.
Oh, I don't remember. I was far too young. And Holly will have the forecast.
And while it did rain again today, proof there was a little sunshine to be found. When can we expect to see some more? I'll have your forecast.
Sorry, I'm just doing some maths in my head, but we're gonna gloss over it. More from us online. All the details you need to get in touch are on the screen, the website, the phone number, and follow us on social media.
And the ITV Evening News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. Here's Charlene White.
The Manchester United co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, says he's sorry that his choice of language has offended some people. It follows him saying the UK had been colonised by immigrants, comments which the Prime Minister called offensive and wrong. The nursery worker who sexually abused toddlers in his care is sentenced to 18 years in prison. And the place, which hasn't seen a ray of sunshine in weeks, claims an unusual record. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Now, with Valentine's Day approaching, people are being warned about a rise in romance and dating app scams.
Well, figures from one of the world's leading cybersecurity firms showed a third of online daters in the UK have fallen victim, many to fake AI profiles designed to trick them into emotional and financial traps.
As Hannah Ludlow reports, the scammers can be difficult to spot, but failing to can have huge consequences.
Everything is going to be better soon. We will spend the rest of our life together, trust me.
This looks like, and even sounds like, popular bassist Becky Baldwin. But it isn't really her. This is a deep fake. A scammer has used artificial intelligence to change Becky's real videos, moving her mouth and body to say things she's never said.
Your mind just goes to all kinds of things that you know would be possible with this kind of technology, and it's very invasive and violating.
The victim was Tommy from the United States. Tommy isn't his real name. A fan of Becky's, Tommy couldn't believe his luck when she connected with him on social media. They chatted for months. She even sent him video messages calling him darling.
Good morning, darling. I'm really so sorry about last night.
The person he believed was Becky later asked him for money for medical bills and food, which he sent. When the account suddenly blocked him, Tommy tracked down Becky's real email address and asked her why. Becky told him she didn't know him and had not been the person he'd been talking to. Cybercrime expert Dr. Bing Han from the University of Portsmouth says romance scams like this are on the rise.
They can ask you some financial request, like I need help, I need to pay my bill, need to pay my tuition fee, whatever. Or it's another way they talk about money. They can show you that they are a very successful business person and they make huge money and they want to help you to make money together.
A recent survey has found 32% of online daters in the UK have been targeted by a dating scam. 55% have been contacted by someone pretending to be a celebrity or a public figure. 90% of victims lost money, with some losing up to £30,000.
Slowing the things down and do not just respond immediately, just send the money straight away. And you could do some research online as well. Do some research online saying there are a lot of victim communities share their experience online, or talk to some people you really trust with, your friends, your family member, your professional person, and ask for help.
Most dating apps now require users to verify their identity. And the government is developing new technology to detect deepfakes to help stop scammers pulling the strings.
The AI technology really needs to be kept an eye on. It should be used for good. It should be used to make things more efficient. Instead, it's somehow letting people make the fake accounts even more believable. And that just seems so backwards.
Hannah Ludlow, ITV News.
Now, for many, buying a new build home can be a dream come true, but in some cases it can turn into a nightmare.
The government recently announced that it will go further than ever before to build new homes, with the biggest changes in planning rules we've seen in over a decade. So what does it mean for where new houses are built and for the quality of homes across Britain? ITV's Tonight programme has been investigating.
I started to realise there was brown staining on the ceiling. The terrace was leaking. There was a lot of fire safety defects. And when they started to repair my terrace, they started to find cracks in the brickwork and that whole panels of brick had been kind of moving.
Dan is in an absolutely shocking situation, and it just shows how broken the system is when you're buying a new home in terms of consumer protection. And it shouldn't be the homeowners that are left to pick up the pieces.
And you can watch Flood's new build nightmares in full this evening from 7:30 here on ITV1. And of course you can watch on ITVX. A retro festival held on the south coast is back after a 2-year hiatus. But this June, Let's Rock Southampton will have a new home at St Mary's Stadium.
Well, on stage will be loads of big names from the 80s, including Jason Donovan, Sister Sledge, Kim Wilde and Tapau. Headlining the festival is Matt Goss, who's had a successful solo career after selling more than 17 million records worldwide as part of Bros.
Now, Matt grew up as a teenager in Camberley and came down to Southampton to speak exclusively to Natalie Ball.
Matt, you're used to performing for hundreds of thousands of fans all across the world. But you don't take it for granted that you get to perform in venues like this, do you?
No, I mean, it's just awe-inspiring, you know, to see the pitch and it's just an honour, you know, I love it. I can't wait to get out here and just smash it.
And it will be a trip down memory lane for a lot of people, yourself included. Do you still love performing those Bros tracks?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like having a hit is a real, again, like a privilege. Like it's an amazing thing as a singer-songwriter when you know absolutely they're going to sing that chorus back.
The Bros Mania was extraordinary at times. You know, you had thousands of people waiting for you at venues, people camped outside your mum's house. Did you embrace it all, or was it overwhelming and sometimes a bit scary?
I think all of the above. I think that I've never felt like a complaining celebrity, you know, like I've always felt very, very grateful. But I didn't join a band to, you know, search for mediocrity. You know, Bros was a juggernaut in the pop world, and it was all over the world, and it was really fun. It was terrifying at times, you know, because it was just like all was happening everywhere you went. Like you couldn't go anywhere without, you know, that's why they called it Bros Mania. It was absolutely manic everywhere.
At Bros's Southampton concert, 10 girls were taken to hospital overcome with hysteria. There were no casualties at Brighton.
And obviously it wasn't just an adjustment for you, but also your family.
Yeah.
How did they deal with this sudden found fame that you had?
I think fame's such a strange thing. Like it's, you know, I've lived with it for 38 years, and I think that you've constantly got to remind yourself that it can affect your family. And I think in some ways it hasn't had a good effect on my life and my family. I don't really have a close relationship with my family. You know, it's been a wonderful thing within my own life. I really understand it. But if you just take it and appreciate it, it can be a really, really fun thing to be known. And just, you know, it doesn't matter where I go in the world, there'll be somebody going, oh, you know, like, be excited and got all the stories. If you just take it on board that way and receive it in a really kind, fun, easy way, then it becomes that in your life.
Fans won't have to wait long for more new music from Matt. He's back songwriting and has been in the studio recording tracks he hopes will resonate with fans of all ages.
When Bros ended, I don't think you were ready for it to end, were you? When it ended?
No, I mean, it's like anyone, like it's really just like losing your job, you know. I understand that it was getting very tough. I remember the press saying, is this the end of Bros? Because we went in at number 9 instead of number 3, you know. I think that was just too much for, in some ways, to just constantly, is this the end now? Is this the end? Is this where the bubble bursts? But, you know, Luke wanted his own thing, you know, he wanted his own identity. And I think, you know, being the front man, being the lead singer of the band, again, I felt like I was over apologising, you know, and even to this day, I'm done apologising. You know, I'm a good front man, I'm good at what I do. I always thought that we should have just hung in there and just, you know, we should have just made some more records and just, enjoyed that ride, ups and downs within a band, that band unit. But I respect his decision. But it was terribly difficult when he called me and said, I'm quitting the band.
Are you still hopeful that one day you might reunite?
Yeah, lately I feel much more at peace with this answer, and that is that, look, my brother can't expect me to continue to do media and not speak the truth to a certain level. I'll never divulge personal details, but we're not speaking, and that's not me betraying my brother. So, yeah, of course I want to go out on stage with him but I've asked enough, and as a man that knows my own self-worth, I can't get on my knees and beg for that. It's a privilege, it's not manual labour. It's a real privilege. So I can't imagine that we won't give it a crack again, but who knows.
Matt Goss talking to Natalie Ball there, and I'm sure that you can hear more on that interview, and you want to hear more on that interview. We were just saying how fascinating it is. We've got an extended version for you to watch on ITVX, where Matt talks about growing up in Camberley, the close bond he had with his mum, losing his sister, and how he feels about being part of the youngest band to ever perform at Wembley.
Now, we're going to talk about I knew this was the case. This is going to wind me up. Data from Reading University shows the town has seen 31 consecutive days of rain, creating record-breaking volumes of water. Only once since it began recording daily rainfall in 1908 has there been a longer spell. That was 40 days, somewhere in the Bible. No, it was 2016. Overall, though, the rainfall was less. Dr. Stephen Berry from Reading's Meteorology Department says rainfall levels are more than twice the normal amount. Holly, explain yourself.
I knew you were going to say that. I tell you what, Saturday I think is going to break that consecutive record. There we go.
You're pinging a lot. What is going to?
No, sorry, I said that wrong, didn't I? It'll break the consecutive stretch.
Saturdays, don't take Saturday away from me.
It'll break the stretch. It'll break the stretch. I promise. Yes.
So what is there to look forward to?
What's there to look forward to? Well, sunshine on Saturday. But what I wanted to talk to you about was sort of why it's been an odd few weeks. And it's because we've had, as we know, low pressure, which hasn't really gone anywhere. So typically in this part of the world, we have a west or a southwesterly prevailing wind. But when you get low pressure in charge, you get winds like this. And those rain-bearing winds affect the southwest of the UK. But also, if you look further north, places like Scotland, eastern Scotland, have had it even worse than us. So this is a typical pattern where you'd expect to see most rainfall across the UK in its western areas, whereas eastern and southern areas tend to be a lot drier. This month, we've had a complete about turn. So parts of eastern Scotland have been, very, very dry. Very, very wet. And parts of western Scotland have been very, very dry. So you've got Stornoway in the west, where there's been less than 1 millimetre of rain. Durris and Aberdeen in the east has had over 200 millimetres of rain. They've been 500 times wetter.
So you're saying to Matt, it's not just us.
It's not just us. No, it isn't just us. Thankfully, as I say, we have got a bit of sunshine on the way for Saturday, but until then, I'm afraid, some heavy downpours in the forecast. Let's take a look.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Continuing with the unsettled theme in the short term, but there are some changes now on the way. So you can see this low pressure that's dominating our weather at the moment, shifting its way southwards. That allows some colder air to push in. And then this is a ridge of high pressure, this bump here, and that's going to give us some sunshine on Saturday. However, you can also see a weather system out in the west. That's pushing in for Sunday, and that could be a bit wintry on the leading edge, perhaps. Out there at the moment, then some showery outbreaks of rain. Some clear spells around as well, and that could lead to some mist and fog patches forming. Temperatures shouldn't fall away too far for tonight, but you can see we continue to get showers pushing through. So we start tomorrow morning with some mist and fog around. That should lift and clear. And then some bright spells to be had, some sunshine creeping out, but also some heavy showers developing. And where these occur, they could be quite slow moving, so you will know all about them. In addition, this northeasterly breeze drawing in that colder air, so especially across the north of the patch, some of us getting up to just 4 or 5 degrees for tomorrow. Zooming out then, you can see tomorrow night that low pressure shifting southwards, and increasingly that's allowing that cold air to push in. In the early hours of Saturday, we could see a few wintry flurries perhaps, maybe some icy patches developing as well. But Saturday itself, I think, should be a nice bright day. We should see some good sunshine before returning to a more changeable pattern after that. Have a good evening. Take care.
TUI sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Saturday is still in. Don't take Saturday away from me. I'm putting a lot on this Saturday being a nice afternoon.
It better be nice. We all need Saturday,
Yes.
Matt. That's why.
Yes.
It's been
That is
hard.
it from us for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.
Bye-bye.